From Kern Government Television, welcome to this week's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting. Originating from the Kern County Administrative Center, located at 1115 Truxtun Avenue in Bakersfield, California. Grounded in ideas, energy, and innovation, Kern County's vision is to be a driving force for the world's fifth largest economy, and our mission is to exceed expectations of the communities we serve, changing the way they feel about government, those who manage it, and the services it provides. Today's Board of Supervisors meeting will convene momentarily.
Board to reconvene. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Peters?
Here.
Supervisor Parlier?
Here.
Supervisor Flores?
Here.
Supervisor Perez?
Here.
Good morning and welcome to the Tuesday, March 24th, 9 a.m. meeting of the Kern County Board of Supervisors. We'll begin today's meeting with a flag salute led by a member of our Kern County Department of Child Support Services, Corporal Johnny Gonzalez. Raised in a challenging environment as one of 6 siblings, Johnny witnessed firsthand the consequences of adversity, with many in his family struggling with incarceration and drug use. Determined to forge a different path, he turned to discipline through athletics, excelling in both wrestling and football. His dedication led him to become the first in his family to graduate high school, and later, the first to earn a bachelor's degree, setting a new standard for future generations. In July 2005, Johnny answered the call to serve and enlisted in the United States Marine Corps. He completed recruit training, followed by Marine combat training, then attended motor transport operator training at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, where he developed technical expertise that would define his military career. Johnny was assigned to 5th Battalion, 11th Marines, Romeo Battery, Guns Platoon, where he served as a motor transportation operator. As a certified ammunition and explosives driver and artillery gun driver, he played a critical role in transporting personnel, equipment, and high-risk materials in combat environments. Johnny deployed to Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom, where he endured combat operations as part of the last M198 howitzer artillery batteries in Iraq. Following his deployment, Johnny returned stateside as his unit transitioned to the Marines' 1st Active Duty HIMARS unit. Johnny earned multiple meritorious board recommendations for Marine of the Quarter, and in 2007 was honored as the non-commissioned officer of the quarter for the entire 11th Marine Regiment, a testament to his professionalism, work ethic, and leadership among his peers. Today, Johnny continues his service as a dedicated professional with the Kern County Department of Child Support Services, where he remains committed to strengthening families and uplifting community. A devoted husband, father, coach, and mentor, he carries forward the values instilled in him through his military service of honor, courage, and commitment. Mr. Gonzalez, we thank you very much for your service to our country and our community, and for being here today to lead us in the pledge. Following the pledge, I would ask that you all please remain standing for a moment of prayer, silence, or meditation, whichever you prefer.
Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you again for being here. Next, I would like to call on Nick Cullen, Director of Animal Services, to introduce our Pet of the Week. How's it going today, Nick?
Good morning, Chairman Peters, members of the board. Our Pet of the Week this morning is Dane. Dane is about a 2-year-old, very scared Chihuahua mix. He's as big as he's going to get. This is about as big as he'll be for the rest of his life, and he's available for adoption right now at the Kern County Animal Shelter.
Awesome. And what's the adoption fee on Dane?
Dane is just $20, and that $20 is going to include everything you need to be responsible. So a microchip, vaccines, a license for a year. He's going to have a complimentary pet insurance policy for a month. And you're going to save the dog's life. So
that's awesome. Well, thank you very much for bringing Dane down here.
Of course.
And good luck finding a new home, buddy.
Thank you.
We'll begin by considering the consent agenda. All items listed with the CA above the items are considered to be routine and... Oh, thank you. I missed that part. Forgot we had a special session last week, so we will first turn to our county council for a report on action taken in closed session. Good morning.
Sorry. Good morning, Board of Supervisors and Chair. Last Friday, there was a closed session meeting, and there were no reportable actions taken.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we will consider the consent agenda. All items listed with the CA above the items are considered to be routine and non-controversial by county staff. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion. If a member of the public wishes to comment or ask questions regarding items on the consent agenda, they may do so prior to a vote being taken. Members of the board may remove any item from the consent agenda, and it will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the board concerning the item before action is taken. A member of the public may also comment on any closed session items. At this time, I'll read the consent agenda item numbers, and that includes item 8 on page 2, items 11 through 17 on page 3, 18 through 24 on page 4, 25 through 33 on page 5, 35 through 39 on page 6, and lastly, items 40 through 46 on page 7. Are there any members in attendance that would like to speak regarding the consent agenda?
I just have a question. Does
Sure.
that happen to do?
Could you come to the podium if you would, Jess? Thank you.
I can't find in there. Does that, any of that have to do with the appointing of the new care facilities?
No, that does
Okay.
not. Thank you. Any other members of the public? Okay. Oh, got one.
I just got here. Does that have to do with the DA's
No,
deal?
it's not the DA's.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board for a motion.
Motion on consent?
Second. Thank you. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved, all ayes.
Okay, next is item number 1, proclaiming April 2026 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Kern County, and this item will be presented by Supervisor Parlier.
Motion to approve. Second?
The motion is approved, all ayes.
Hey, we all good? Good morning, Chairman, and my fellow members on the Board of Supervisors. Today, the Kern County Board of Supervisors would like to proclaim April 2026 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Kern County. Some of the main focuses of Child Abuse Prevention Month are to continue to seek community-based solutions while strengthening and educating families and the public at large to prevent child abuse and neglect before it occurs. Child abuse is entirely preventable. During the month of April, this effort will promote awareness and encourage the positive actions needed to stop and prevent harm to children. There are several activities taking place during Child Abuse Prevention Month right here in Kern. This morning, I'd like to welcome Lito Murillo with Kern County Human Services to share a few remarks on this topic, along with any other dignitary who'd like to share remarks too. Thank you, Lito.
Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor Parlier. Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the board. It's truly an honor to be here today. I appreciate the proclamation honoring the month of April as Child Abuse Prevention Month. I have a few dignitaries behind me. I may not get all their names, and I apologize for that, but this is the group of individuals in our community, day in and day out, continuously working to prevent child abuse. From First Five, we have Amy Travis. From Public Health, we have Bryn Kerrigan. From CASA, we have Ashley Voorhees. We have Chief of Probation Bill Dickinson. From Kern County Superintendent of Schools, we have Yadira Vargas, Kurt Williams, and our Sheriff, Donnie Youngblood, and Lauren Skidmore from Open Door Network. First and foremost, I want to thank our DHS employees, our social workers that do this work day in and day out. Their efforts often get overlooked, but it's important and courageous work that they do, so I can't thank them enough on a continuous basis. Each month, CPS gets about 1,000 referrals, and that number really is probably underreported. It's hard to believe as that is. There's a lot of incidents that go unreported, primarily because of shame, lack of awareness, and or fear, for that matter. Child abuse is a complicated problem with no real easy solutions. Social workers constantly have to anticipate future risk while keeping families intact, which can be really overwhelming. And as tragic and as horrific as child abuse is, what often gets overlooked is the lifelong implications it has on these kids as they grow up to become adults. So here's what we know. Children who suffer from child abuse often have a higher risk of heart disease, obesity, diabetes, physical and chronic pain, and mobility issues as adults. Many suffer from substance abuse, anxiety, depression, PTSD, and other mental health disorders. Many struggle to form and maintain healthy relationships, while others turn to crime to cope with their trauma and or to support themselves. The cost of treating physical and psychological effects of child abuse is a huge burden on our healthcare, education, law enforcement, and social service system, but most of all, our community. We must also recognize the real challenges families face. Parenting by itself is really tough. It becomes even more challenging when you factor in financial stress, limited resources, mental health issues, substance abuse, and or past trauma. Prevention can only be achieved if these stressors and challenges are addressed. This is where the community comes in. Communities act as a safety net for families, providing support resources to help families and children thrive. When communities are engaged and connected, families are less likely to struggle with isolation. We all have a part to play. Educators who notice changes, neighbors who offer a helping hand, friends who listen, and professionals who provide care all build and help prevail that web of support. Organizations and services in the community reinforce this network, offering vital assistance and resources. Prevention works when communities stay engaged at all times, not just during crisis, taking daily actions to support and connect families. Addressing child abuse is a challenge that requires everyone's efforts. Every child deserves to grow up in a safe, stable, and nurturing environment, and every family deserves to succeed. Together, through partnership, compassion, commitment, we continue to build a community where prevention is not just a goal, but a shared value. I want to thank your board support, our dedicated partners and their staff, and our hardworking, committed social workers for their continued dedication to safeguard children in our community. As a reminder, to report any child abuse, please call our hotline, 661-631-6011. And now, with your indulgence, I'd like to share a video. Oh, we don't have a video. Thank you again for this proclamation.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll turn around, I guess. You get us all, or we back up a little bit? All right. I know what you're doing. Thank you again.
Okay, next item is number 2, and that's proclaiming March 23rd through 27th, Adult Education Week in Kern County, and that will be presented by Supervisor Flores.
Motion.
Second.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
How are you? Doing great. I like the specs. Oh, thanks. Good morning, board and members of the public. I'm joined by two special people from the Bakersfield Adult School, Assistant Principals Jeremy Newfield and Barry Champagne. This is a wonderful proclamation honoring the Kern High School District and specifically Bakersfield Adult School within that. There are about 27 campuses in the high school district, the largest high school district in the state. I had the honor of serving with my chairman and a colleague, Philip Peters, as a trustee. He can vouch for the good work of this district, the numerous programs from career technical education to the adult school to our comprehensive campuses, serving 45,000 students and making a difference in the lives and the educational trajectory of these students in our community. And also Supervisor Perez, you were a champion for dual enrollment. You've worked with the district. You've seen the programs firsthand. Early college, we were one of the leaders in getting high school people into college and high school credit in advance. So I want to read a few snapshots about the fine work that's happening at Bakersfield Adult School. They also have a location at Lerdo. They're doing great transformative work in real rehabilitation before people leave the prison. And I viewed that firsthand with you on that hot summer day, I remember. So just a few things. Bakersfield Adult School serves 5,839 students to meet their academic, personal, and professional goals. They work on GEDs, English as a second language. In last year, 283 adults received their high school diploma, 58 GED, 617 adults at Lerdo completed one or more career tech programs. In 2025, 75 adults in Lerdo detention completed court-ordered parenting and neglect classes to reunite with their family. And so it's real numbers making a real difference. So there's many other stats here, and I'll let the principals talk more. But on behalf of our Board of Supervisors, we want to proclaim March 23rd through 27, 2026 as Adult Education Week in Kern County, signed by our Honorable Chairman, Philip Peters, dated this date, March 24th. Congratulations.
Thank you, Supervisor Flores, and thank you, Chairman Peters and members of the Kern County Board of Supervisors. Thank you for this proclamation for Adult Education Week. As Supervisor Flores mentioned, Bakersfield Adult School provides second chances and oftentimes first real opportunities for adults across our community. We help parents earn their diplomas and GEDs, learn English, and gain job skills that lead to employment and stability. We also serve the incarcerated adults through our jail education program at Lerdo. And none of this would be possible without our dedicated teachers and staff whose commitment and compassion transform lives every day. When adults succeed, families are strengthened, the workforce grows, and Kern County benefits. And I would like to, as Supervisor Flores mentioned, he's already come to visit us at the Lerdo facility, so I'd like to invite you all to come to any of our sites, but especially our Lerdo facility where we have a top-notch culinary program. Once again, thank you for recognizing the vital role that adult education plays in our county's future.
Thank you. See you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I will. See you. Okay, our next item is going to be item number 3, and that will be proclaiming April 30th, 2026 as National Therapy Animal Day in Kern County. And this item will be presented by Supervisor Perez.
Thank you so much, Chair. A motion on proclamation, or certificate. Proclamation, excuse me.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Okay. Bill? Okay, very good. Bill LeMake, our airport's director. The best we've ever had, actually. And then, can we bring Nikki down? This is mental health therapy for all of us. Yeah, for all of us. Hi, Nikki. Say hi. I already met Nikki at the airport, so that's a come we're friends. We're on a first name basis. Hey there. Come on over. I want to get you in the camera if possible. How precious. Yay, this is so much fun. Okay, Bill, want to come over here to the other side of me? You'll be speaking in a moment. Very nice to see you. It is really an honor today to proclaim National Therapy Animal Day in Kern County. I'm so happy that Nick Cullen joined us down here at the podium because he is literally our mental health reset every Tuesday. When he walks out of the back with whatever precious baby that he has, I notice my colleagues, we start smiling at each other. We have a general sentiment is of well-being when we see that we can join around this beautiful, beautiful creature and think about ourselves vis-a-vis their incredible nature. National Therapy Animal Day is not just about celebrating current therapy animal teams. It's an opportunity to encourage more pet owners to consider becoming volunteers, creating a happier, healthier community through greater access to safe and meaningful therapy animal visits. The need for therapy animals in our community is greater than ever. Through this proclamation, with your public voice, I hope you'll help build awareness about the amazing impact animals can have and that we already know have on our lives. From decreasing fear, anxiety, loneliness, to shortening recovery times and lowering perceived levels of pain, to supporting motivation and focus that helps us learn. Therapy animals are a scientifically proven force for good. Ain't that right, Nikki? Today we have Bill LeMake, director of our airports, who can speak more about this amazing animal and the work they do at the airport. I got an opportunity to meet Nikki when we were out with Jeff Flores celebrating 20 years at the airport, which was just so cool. And I got to meet Nikki and see the impact that she had on everyone from the Cal State cheerleaders that were there to Bill LeMake and everybody in between. So very cool. Bill, it's my pleasure and honor today to present this proclamation to you. The Board of Supervisors, County of Kern, State of California, officially acclaims April 30th, 2026 as National Therapy Animal Day in Kern County. It's been officially recognized into the board minutes and signed by our Honorable Chair, Philip Peters. So this is for you. We want to hear from you. Good to see you. Welcome.
We could talk about Nikki for hours. I won't, I promise. But she makes a huge impact every week at the airport. Good morning, Chair Peters and members of the board. I'd like to take a moment in recognition of National Therapy Dog Day to highlight the impact of a very special member of our airport community, Nikki, our therapy dog, and Jackie Rigby, a very special person who shares Nikki with us. Nikki visits Meadows Field once a week, sometimes twice when we're lucky, but her impact reaches far beyond those few hours. She brings comfort, connection, and a sense of calm to both our passengers and our staff. Stressful days at the airport, I can hear people in other offices saying, "Where's Nikki?" So I know something bad is going on down the hall. Recently, Nikki spent time with a traveler who had experienced an incredibly difficult year, lost several family members. He sat with Nikki, holding her close, finding a moment of peace in an otherwise difficult time while he was waiting for his flight. On another visit, she comforted a woman who had just lost her own service dog. What started as a simple interaction turned into a meaningful moment of healing as the woman shared photos and memories with Jackie while sitting with and holding Nikki. And sometimes it's just about joy, like when Nikki she took a group photo with a large family welcoming a loved one home, then stayed a little longer so all the children could meet her, laugh, and connect. These moments may seem small, but they represent something powerful. Nikki helps transform the airport experience, which can be stressful for a lot of people, into something more human and more compassionate. We're proud to have her as part of our team and grateful for the comfort she brings to our community. Thank you, Nikki, and thank you, Jackie, for sharing her with us.
Nick, would you mind saying a few words about dogs as therapy?
Sure. Thank you, Supervisor Perez. Chair Peters, members of the board. I had a good friend one tell me that dogs are medicine. They communicate non-verbally to us, but they also can provide non-verbal therapy to us. And if you ever wanted to see evidence of therapy dogs in action, just see me every Tuesday morning as the staff comes in for the board meeting and how they interact with the animals and the smiles on their faces and how it just changes everybody's attitude. So I fully support the acknowledgement of therapy dogs. They provide such a great impact to our lives, and they truly are medicine. Our animals and our dogs are medicine. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill, to our airports director, Bill LeMake. He's my favorite airport director we've ever had. And of course, the glorious, glorious, beloved Nick Colin. And Nikki here actually has a business card, if you're interested. It lists her attributes. Favorite toy is Squeaky Monkey. Favorite treat, cookies. Favorite activities, playing and running. Greatest accomplishment, becoming a therapy dog. And the handler, of course, is Jackie. And she's styling, doing better than a lot of people I know. All right, come on, let's get a picture. Come on over. Okay, right here. Good job, Nikki. Good job, Nikki. Good girl. Good girl. Squeeze on up. Ready? Go. 1, 2, Nikki. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. I'll see you soon. Thank you, Chair. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, our last presentation is item number 4, and that's proclaiming April 2026 as Financial Literacy Month in Kern County. And I will be making this presentation, so I will make a motion to approve.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Flores is your second.
Sorry, thank you. Person has it.
Leticia, I just need you to vote. The motion is approved. All ayes.
Good morning, fellow board members. It's my honor to proclaim April 2026 as Financial Literacy Month in Kern County. If any of us have filled up our vehicles at the gas station lately, we know how important financial literacy is at this time. In fact, I was just thinking when Nikki was up here, I think grocery stores are missing the boat. We might need to get some service animals there by the check stands. It's couldn't hurt anything. But this is a great incentive. This is a great time to just highlight this. Financial literacy is so important for all of us, but especially there are a lot of families, a lot of folks out there that haven't had the chance to learn and get some of that background. So partners like Valley Strong behind us and a lot of our local credit unions do a lot of that work in sharing that information and helping bring people up to speed. So on behalf of the board, the proclamation reads, the Board of Supervisors of the County of Kern, State of California, has officially proclaimed April 2026 as Financial Literacy Month in Kern County, and this recognition has been entered into our official board minutes. And I will turn it over to our next speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My name is Emily Phillips. I am the Financial Wellness Manager at Valley Strong Credit Union, and today I'm joined by Becky Swigum and Bree Lancaster from Valley Strong as well as our credit union partners from Alta One Credit Union, Safe One Credit Union, and Strata Credit Union. We are truly honored and filled with gratitude as we gather today to celebrate the declaration of April 2026 as Financial Literacy Month here in Kern County. On behalf of Valley Strong Credit Union, our incredible partners, all community organizations and businesses that share in this mission, we want to extend a heartfelt thank you to the Board of Supervisors for recognizing the importance of financial education in our community. As we all know, financial literacy is more than just a set of skills, it's the foundation to success. It equips individuals with the knowledge and tools they need to navigate a complex world of finances. This is not just important for personal growth, but for economic stability of our entire community, because when individuals make informed financial decisions, we all benefit. Thank you once again to the Board of Supervisors for your unwavering commitment to this cause. Your support will make a lasting impact, and together we're fostering a brighter, more financial future for all of Kern County. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys again. Okay, the next item on the agenda is item number 9, public presentations. This portion of the board meeting is reserved for persons to address the board on any matter not on this agenda, but under the jurisdiction of the board. Board members may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed. They may ask questions for clarification, make referral to staff for factual information, or request staff to report back to the board at a later meeting. Also, the board may take action to direct staff to place matters of business on a future agenda. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes. Please state and spell your name before making your presentation. And just as a reminder, again, we give everybody 2 minutes. Just keep the meetings moving along, and this is for matters that are not on this agenda. These are just some guidelines I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of going forward. So. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, Chairman Peters, board, and staff. Thank you for all that you do. Judicial Watch announced that the Supreme Court held oral argument yesterday, March the 23rd, in a landmark election integrity case over whether The federal election day laws prohibit the counting of mail-in ballots that arrive after Election Day. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit found that Mississippi's counting of ballots received up to 5 days after Election Day to be unlawful. The suit has been consolidated with a similar challenge brought on by the Republican National Committee, the Mississippi Republican Party, and others against Mississippi Secretary of State Michael Watson and local officials in the case of Watson versus Republican National Committee et al. Counting post-election day ballots is a relatively recent practice without any historic foundation. Allowing ballots to trickle in after the election day creates opportunities for fraud and erodes public confidence. In Kern County, there were 5,055 same-day new registrations accepted without identification. Their votes were added and counted after Election Day in the general election of 2024. The whole point of the federal election day statutes is to set a single uniform day for election. Allowing ballots to trickle in days or weeks after Election Day is antithetical to that basic goal. Indeed, a patchwork of state ballot receipt deadlines replicates the problems Congress was trying to remedy with a single national election day. As a concerned citizen, we respectfully request the Board of Supervisors to require the elections administrator to provide the count of ballots received after the official election day in the 5 past elections. Thank you.
Sir, could you just state your name for the record real quick before
I'm
you
sorry,
leave?
Glenn Clayton, Clayton.
Thank you.
Jess Sanders. Good morning, board. Nice meeting you all again. Thank you. It's entirely implausible that to conclude that the Congress, when thrice exercising the preemptive power under the Elections and Electors Clause, left the door open for the states to violate the status by postponing electoral outcomes with post-election ballot receipts deadlines. Congress certainly did not leave the state's power to undo the federal timeline regulation by simply declaring all mailboxes as ballot boxes. This case goes to whether the federal election law will be applied as written. Congress established a single uniform day for Election Day, and states cannot override the mandate with an extended ballot receipt deadlines. Allowing ballots to arrive after the election day creates uncertainty, invites fraud, and erodes public confidence. The Supreme Court now has a critical opportunity to restore a clear standard. Federal courts in Oregon, California, and Illinois have ruled that the Judicial Watch lawsuits against the states to force them to clean their voter rolls may proceed. Judicial Watch announced in May 2025 that its work led to the removal of over 5 million ineligible voters on the nationwide rolls. 5 million. As a concerned citizen, I respectfully request that the Board of Supervisors to require the Elections Administration to provide court ballots over the last 5 years. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Madam Vice and Supervisors. God bless America. I am Charles Shin, retired Marine and a concerned citizen. Continuing with the lawsuit. Through Federal Elections Day statutes, Congress exercises its constitutional authority to set uniform time for federal elections to occur. Text, historical practice, precedents, and common sense all demonstrate that those statutes set the deadline by which ballots must be submitted and received. Simply put, the ballot box closes on Election Day, and ballots that are not received until days or weeks after that date specified by Congress arrive after Election Day and should not be counted. Election Day statutes set the Tuesday after the first Monday in November as, quote, the day for election, unquote, to USC 7 and 1 and 3 USC 1, Section 1. Under original public meaning, the term, quote, election, unquote, whose statute set uniform day for ballots to be cast and received. At the time, everyone should have understood an election to include ballot submission and receipt as evident from dictionaries, treaties, courts, and state election codes, all of which describe election to include the receipt of marked ballots into official custody. The notion that the ballot box could remain open for continued receipt of ballot days or weeks after the election day, and that states could pick their own disparate deadlines for ballot receipt would have struck the Congress that enacted those statutes and the citizens who first read them as absurd. As concerned citizens, we respectfully request the Board of Supervisors to require the elections administrator provide the count of ballots received after the official election day in the 5 past elections. Thank you.
I was going to say good morning, Chair, but I don't see him right now. But good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name is Russell, R-U-S-S-E-L-L, Person, P-E-R-S-O-N. The federal election day statutes designate a single day when ballot boxes generally must close, and when election officials thus must be in receipt of every vote. Federal law fixes the day on which the election must occur for federal offices. When enacted, the ordinary meaning of those words was that all votes must have been received on election day to count. That is so because on election day, voting needed to be complete, and it was well settled that the act of voting was complete only when a ballot was received by officials. That combined action, receipt of a private choice by a public officer, had to be perfected on election day, not after. Petitioner's position: the election means only the final choice of voters, as defined by state law, has no basis in that term's ordinary meaning at the time these laws were enacted, and in granting total discretion states over what it means to cast a ballot. Petitioner's reading would permit state laws that no enacting Congress would tolerate, nor would petitioner, for that matter, who suggests various atextual limits to avoid such results. Moreover, petitioner's reading would invalidate early voting because it would stretch the election for days beyond the day on which it must occur. This court's sole precedent analyzing the federal election day laws confirm election day as the day all ballots must have been received. As this court explained, the election refers to the combined actions of voters and officials meant to make a final selection of the office holder. As we've requested already, we request to know how many ballots came in after the last 5 elections. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, excuse me, next speaker, please.
Good morning, Supervisors. My name's Nadine Escalante. I'm here to discuss the memo that you received from DA Zimmer's office suggesting switching from...
Okay, that's item number 34 on the agenda, so we'll be getting to that next.
Okay, I'm
Thank
so
you.
sorry.
No problem.
I know.
Any other members of the public that would like to make comment on an item not on this agenda? Okay, seeing none.
I have a quick question.
Yes, Supervisor Perez.
Thank you for concerned citizen group. I have a question to see if you happen to know. I've read the headlines about what's happening with the Supreme Court. It appears as though they are moving to make this limitation, as you've spoken about this morning. It appears as though that's where they're going with the comment. So that's a big change. Obviously, we're going to be working through that if that occurs. But your first speaker said something about same-day registrations as well. It was about 5,500 for the day. Do you know if the lawsuit at the Supreme Court is addressing both the ballots received after Election Day and the same-day registrations? Just curious. I'm just curious if you know if the court's actually dealing with both of those.
Through the chair, Madam Vice, I'm not sure if, I think the whole intent for the suit is to bring elections down to one day, to probably eliminate early day, advance voting. Some states can vote like 30 days in advance or weeks in advance, and to do the count on that day, not receive ballots after. So the 5,055 that we had here in Kern, those couldn't be counted as ballots until their application to become a registered voter was completed, and that was done all after the election.
I see. So that would then relate to those because they technically aren't in through the process by 8 p.m. on Election Day.
They can't receive a ballot if the person hasn't been verified as a citizen, and we don't even verify citizenship.
Got it. Okay, so on those grounds, all 5,500 would be valid, would be invalid right out the chute. Just
correct. Got it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Okay, our next item is number 10, board member announcements or reports. Any comments from the board? Okay, I've got one. I was recently informed about the passing of Mr. Derek Gross, and I'm requesting that we adjourn today's meeting in his honor. Derek Gross was a respected home building leader, devoted husband and father, and dedicated member of the Kern County community, whose professional leadership and community service left a lasting impact on the neighborhoods and people around him. Derek was passionate about the home building industry, constantly reading and learning about new ideas, innovations, and ways to build better communities. He served as president of the Home Builders Association of Kern County and remained actively engaged in local development and civic matters, such as the Bakersfield Police Department's food basket program to aid victims of crime. Mr. Gross also participated in community planning efforts and attended local city council meetings on behalf of his company, guiding thoughtful development and helping create communities that residents are proud to call home. Those who worked with him remember him as an intellectual and thought leader who constantly sought to learn and innovate within the home building industry. He invested deeply in the professional growth of those around him, mentoring colleagues and building teams that respected his leadership and guidance. Most importantly, he was devoted to his family, including his wife, Sarah Gross, daughters Rebecca Stallings, Emma Gross, Valdez, and Heather Gross, as well as his granddaughter, Maylee. Through his devotion to family, community service, and professional leadership in the home building industry, Derek leaves a legacy that will continue to inspire the Central Valley and all who knew him. So again, I request that we adjourn our meeting today in his honor. Our next item will be number 34 under the District Attorney's Office, and that is a proposed occupancy agreement with the Bakersfield Recovery Services, Inc. to provide services to victims of crime at the Kern County Family Justice Center. And I'm going to go to Supervisor Parlier.
Thank you, Chairman. Out of an abundance of caution, I, Board Member Chris Parlier, will abstain from the following not consent calendar item, but item number 34, for the reason of receipt of a campaign contribution in excess of $500 pursuant to Government Code Section 84308. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Flores.
Yeah, thank you. I share the same concerns. I, Board Member Jeff Flores, will abstain from the following consent. Oh, sorry, not consent. Item number 34, regular agenda for receipt of campaign contribution excess 500. That requires further exploration on my part on the FPPC consultation, but also I believe I can vote on a future item when this item comes before us after the completion of the procurement and public bidding process, then I might be able to vote after that's completed. But my understanding through county council, it's still pending.
Supervisor Flores, through the chair, that is correct.
So I'll have to also leave the dais at this point. But I might be able to vote in the future.
Understood. Thank
Should this
you.
be continued? Which has to because there's only 2 people left.
So this is a unique situation, and I'm going to, actually, I'll start with our county council. If you could just kind of share a little bit about where we're at, what the concerns that were brought up already, and kind of where we go from here.
Okay. We have a unique situation indeed. We have a situation where we have a contract before your board that is not competitively bid or required to be. Just as following up on Supervisor Flores's remarks. However, the underlying agreement, the grant agreement with Bakersfield Recovery Services, was required to be competitively bid in a departmental type of competitive bid process. It can also be a sole source. I have every belief that the district attorney's office was attempting to follow that process, but there was a glitch. And the glitch was that they submitted the paperwork for a sole source, and for whatever reason, it did not get approved through purchasing, nor did they see it. It went through our new Workday system and was approved by our auditor's office, which is under the code section. It's required under our policy. It's required to, it's required to be approved by our purchasing department. That did not happen. So under the Levin Act, competitively bid contracts are exempt, so you don't have to recuse yourself if you receive a campaign contribution. However, here, because that process has not been completed, we do not have the completion of a competitively bid process. I believe we will. I believe it's going through that process, but at this time, they had to recuse themselves. If now we're in a situation where we do not have a quorum of the board. So there's a couple of options there as well. One option is that we can draw names until we have a quorum, which would mean that one of the supervisors who have recused themselves under the Levin Act would be able to vote. However, I believe it's probably more appropriate at this time, since I don't know Supervisor Couch's situation. He's not here. I don't believe he's in the country. We can continue this item until he returns, and then perhaps we have 3 supervisors without a conflict. Or once the process is complete and we have a competitively bid process, which really is what needs to happen, we need to get that through that process and get it approved, then the other 2 may not have to recuse themselves, and we can proceed at that time.
Okay. Just trying to think through just trying to think through the best way to go about this right now, though. With everything that you've said, I don't want anybody to feel that they haven't had their opportunity to share the concerns, but I also don't know that it's appropriate to hear them right now, that being the case. So I want to make sure we're doing this the correct way from a legal perspective.
If you do not have a quorum of the board, you cannot hear the item,
okay,
nor public comment on the item.
Okay.
The question.
That's not true.
Excuse me. This is not the time for people to be yelling. We're trying to work through this issue right now. Excuse me. If we continue to get interruptions, we're going to clear the chamber and we're going to continue.
Okay. Your board cannot take action on an item if you do not have a quorum. That said, you do have the option to draw a name from the hat and hear the item. If you choose, as the chairman, that is your prerogative to continue the item, the matter will come forward on the next Board of Supervisors agenda, and people could come and be heard. Absolutely, they will have a chance to speak. I suppose as the chair, you have the prerogative to allow people to speak now, but you cannot take action without a quorum.
Okay. Okay, that's good context. I appreciate that. Supervisor Perez?
That was going to be my question. I want to just make sure the public understands that when you're missing a majority of your board, which is 3 in this instance, you're very limited for obvious reasons. You have a minority member or group of the board that's making a decision against a majority potentially. So you can understand why that's so problematic, and frankly, the law does not allow it. It isn't something that we are allowed to do. But I have a question. If Supervisor Couch comes back in a couple of weeks and he also is conflicted, are we then left with the same process that we have here, potentially picking through a hat and doing that?
In that situation, we would have 3 members with a conflict, and you would have to draw a name in order to have a quorum to conduct business and take action on the item.
Okay. I've received calls and information and watched the news over the weekend like so many of you have, and I believe that there are members of the public that are concerned about potential conflicts. I don't know whether there is or isn't. It's a very technical legal process that it's just rife with complications, I assure you. But how can the public be assured that the conflicts issue regarding the district attorney's office is being looked at or addressed, or is something that's going to be part of this, as you said, competitive bid process? Has that begun? Does that mean that the letter that was submitted to the board is no longer valid? I mean, what does that mean for all of that we've walked in here prepared to do?
Yes, as I stated, the action before you has a component to it that before it came to your board to approve an occupancy agreement, it needs to be properly awarded to a vendor before you give that vendor occupancy of our facility. And so your only action is to approve the occupancy, but you need an appropriate vendor to provide that authority to. Here, because it has not fully gone through the competitive process, I don't think it's ripe for that decision. Again, I think that they tried to, and they were in the process. It hit a glitch somewhere, and it didn't make it to county councils for review, and it didn't make it to the purchasing agent for review. It somehow was approved by the auditor through the Workday system.
Okay, I'm confused, I think. You said that there is a competitive bid process happening, but they had submitted a sole source contract.
That is part of, a sole source contract is part of the competitive bid process.
Got it. Thank you for that clarification. I did not know that. Okay, thank you very much. So the submission of a board letter here that was sole source is inadequate, or can be an adequate part of the competitive bidding process, it sounds like.
Yes, it would not be submitted to your board. It would be approved by purchasing. If purchasing approves it, they have that authority for agreements that are under $200,000. Purchasing can approve it with a sole source.
So if it makes it through those technical steps and we return back here, we discover Supervisor Couch does not have a conflict, for example, and there's 3 members who can proceed and make a decision on this, what authority does this body have to look at potential conflicts, or to look at the information that has been repeatedly over the internet, on the news, things and questions that us board members, being political in nature and in our job and responsive to the public, that we have to answer for? Is there a process there? Are they just going to check the boxes, come back here, and the board members have to up or down?
The public will have an opportunity to speak, of course, but the action before your board will be to approve the occupancy agreement before your board. Now, DA Zimmer also, as an elected official, is also subject to the Levin Act, so it's also important for her purposes that that item go through that proper competitive process in order to protect her from conflicts as well.
Okay, and who oversees that process?
Purchasing would make sure it was properly done.
Okay. I don't know what other questions. I'm sure the public has other questions at this time. I don't know what they are or may be. And of course, it's up to chair's discretion to take any comment here. Typically, we reserve public comment for when the item is actually going to be dealt with. However, there's often people that are here that cannot come in 2 weeks, or just for whatever reason won't be here at the next hearing and want to be heard now, and we can preserve your comment for the record at this time, but that is solely up to the discretion of our chair at this time. But those are the questions I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
So I agree. I don't want to want to do everything by the books, but I also don't want to stifle any public comment. So I think that if this was, it sounds like we have to continue this item, but I believe that that being said, people would have spoken under public comment had they had the opportunity and known that this would be continued. So it would be my preference, if it's okay with council, to hear public comment with the caveat that obviously today we cannot take action on it, and then move forward that way.
I believe that would be appropriate, but also just keep in mind that when it comes forward at the next meeting, there would be another comment section, and they would possibly be able to speak twice, so.
Understood, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, that being said, we're gonna hear public comment, but I again remind everybody that we have a 2-minute time limit, and this is not the time for shouting, cheering, booing, demonstrating. This is a time for your thoughts and your concerns to be heard by the board. And I am asking everybody to please keep that in mind and consider the decorum of the chamber and be courteous to other speakers so that they can be heard. So with that, we'll open the public comment. First speaker, please. Good morning.
I came to say, please table this so that it went through the proper sequence. It sounds like you're doing that. It is a conflict of interest. I find it ironic that we just made April the Child Prevention Month. At the same time, we have a conflict of interest with a child predator and the DA and her selection. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Board. My name is Nadine Escalante. My concerns with this issue is we are not advocating for domestic violence and sexual violence victims. Having Bakersfield, whatever it's called, Recovery Services, work with these families, they work with substance abuse. They do not have the proper training, and there is required 40-hour training to serve sexual assault victims of violence crimes. This is not, we need to keep the families that are victims of domestic violence, that's mom, dads, children, as our priority in this county. I'm a part of Bakersfield Community Policing, where we meet with BPD on a regular basis, and we asked in 2024, why is there such a low prosecution rate on DV? It is because of DA Zimmer. We have a problem with our DA. She does not want to address domestic violence and sexual violence. That person is no longer appropriate to serve Kern County and our people in our community. She is not protecting children's lives, first and foremost, especially her own family, nor this community. She has to go. Thank you.
Next speaker, please. And keep in mind that this is also, please keep your comments to things that are under the jurisdiction of the board.
Hello, my name is David Abbasi, but you can call me Spartacus, watchdog of the 5th District. I'm speaking about the proposed contract with Bakersfield Recovery Services. The CEO of Bakersfield Recovery Services, Ganesh Acharya, and the COO, Anand Manohara, each made substantial contributions, thousands of dollars, to Cynthia Zimmer's campaign for Kern County District Attorney. The DA's office has since recommended Bakersfield Recovery Services for this county contract, and the board is scheduled to vote on this. Now, I request that the board publicly disclose any communications, meetings, or recommendations between county staff, the district attorney's office, and Bakersfield Recovery Services related to this procurement to confirm whether any supervisor or official has received contributions from BRS executives or board members, and to require recusal by any official with a disqualifying financial or campaign relationship. Why this matters? To quote Milton Miller, former district supervisor 5, The public's business should be done in light of day and not behind closed doors where the influential trade favors at the expense of the taxpayer. The next steps I request is 1, pause the vote until requested disclosures are posted in the public record. 2, provide copies of the relevant Form 700s and communications. And 3, refer any unresolved disclosure or recusal issues to the County Council and the FPPC for review. We need to investigate Cynthia Zimmer. She is a dangerous criminal who protects other dangerous criminals like her nephew, former Supervisor Zach Scrivener. The racketeering has to end. No more Lords of Bakersfield, okay? Thank you. I want to put this on the record too, Madam Clerk, thank you.
Well, we do have 2 board members that were recused and stated their conflicts, and we are tabling the item, so just to reiterate that. And our next speaker, please.
The financial documents record. Please put that on record.
Hello, my name is Johnny Olaguez. You started the meeting with talk of neglect and child abuse, yet you keep supporting and enabling those. And I'm talking about the board as well as the DA and the sheriff's office. I was reading through specifically Jeff Flores's, because he is my supervisor, his page, and he has an endorsement from the district attorney that says, the offices of the district attorney and sheriff depend on the county supervisors to ensure we have the staff, equipment, and infield manpower to do our job and keep Kern County safe. Well, that's not what you're doing, right? You guys are the ones doing, you're supposed to be doing that. But then reading on, Flores' quote is saying, my goal as your supervisor is to make Kern County a safer place for you and your family to live, work, and prosper. Live in fear of pedophiles in the wild, or living in fear of retaliation from the DA? How about work? If you guys don't agree with something, we say something wrong, the work can get pulled. So what exactly is Flores doing, which he recused himself, which I think is hilarious that half of you guys had to leave. So with that said, I urge you to reject the proposed agreement with Bakersfield Recovery Services and ask yourself, why would the DA pick BRS? One of their most recent clients was Zach Scrivener, Zimmer's nephew. I just find it really ironic, troubling, I don't even know the word, that your intro today focused on child abuse and neglect. That's the focus, and yet you're not doing that. You guys are simply ignoring our resident Epstein, Mr. Scrivener, and his criminal family enterprise. So I urge you to please vote against it. Thank you.
Okay. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Madison Van Dever. I'm a little nervous, you guys. I've never been to anything like this, and I'm gonna be honest, I just found out about this morning, and kind of rushed over here. Speaking from experience with the DA's office, with my own case, wasn't followed up on for almost 3 years. At that time, they reached out to me, and I followed all the steps. They assured me that something would be done. They secured the conviction, and then he was released 3 days later. I was told nothing could happen. I wrote Cynthia Zimmerman. I reached out to everybody. The only person that even responded to me was the DA, Jordan, and she did try to help. But I do just want to address some of the things that I've seen and experienced myself. Just going to court for that, I watched another survivor in court have a man who was restrained from her come and sit right next to her and intimidate her right there. The DA, Jordan, was informed of that, and they had him leave, but nothing was done. Nothing was enforced, nothing was violated, nothing happened at all. And just going from that, I don't see how any of it really makes sense. And I don't see how trying to do this so quickly can just be a glitch. It seems purposeful. You know, to try and do this so quickly, I can't even remember the county, but it was in Pennsylvania just recently this year, a woman's place. There was competitive bidding done. They had an extension that they negotiated to make sure that there was no gap in those services. And I think because of her own personal issues, she's risking that for us in this county. It's not normal for things to go this way, and it's not just a glitch. It is not an accident. And I think the only reason that that's being addressed right now is because they knew that we were going to come here to speak about this. If that wasn't the case, and if they had managed to keep us unaware, this would have been voted on today. Thank you.
Okay, next speaker, please. Not seeing any other speakers. I wanted to, okay, well, guess we do have one more.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else that's going to want to make public comment? Okay, if you're going to be making public comment, please make your way down to the front row so we can have an idea of how many more speakers we have left, and then proceed quickly. Thank you.
To the board through the chair, my name is Joseph Kinzel. I'm the Assistant District Attorney in Kern County. I'm here because the District Attorney's Office has proposed an occupancy agreement that we brought to the board and properly noticed the board. As part of that agreement, we submitted the sole source justification through the county procedures. We did exactly what we were supposed to do, and our counterparts at the Auditor's Office informed the District Attorney's Office that it had been approved. With that approval, we engaged in operations agreement with the Bakersfield Recovery Services, which the District Attorney's Office concluded was an absolutely appropriate person to provide the services at the Family Justice Center. As a point of reference, the Family Justice Center partners with about 20 different agencies in providing services to victims of domestic violence, sexual abuse, human trafficking, and other crimes. A part of that service includes confidential case management. And confidential case management includes the ability for people to come into the Family Justice Center and tell them what is happening without fear that it's going to be reported to different agencies, whether it's law enforcement if they don't want it, or immigration, or whatever it is. The goal is for people to be able to have that opportunity to obtain services with a confidential case manager. The requirements to have a confidential case manager are quite strict. It cannot be a governmental organization. It has to go through essentially a nonprofit organization. And Bakersfield Recovery Services is one of the very few that can provide that service. When the District Attorney's Office ran into issues with the previous provider, we identified the Bakersfield Recovery BRS, as the alternative that could provide that very service.
Mr. Kitzel, I'm sorry, can I interrupt you for just a second?
Yes.
So I was just having a discussion with our clerk here, and I'm not sure the right option on this, but we're still taking public comment on this. We're not hearing a presentation, so
That's correct.
I believe we have to
We
hold
can't
Mr.
hear-
Kinzel to the 2 minutes as well.
That's correct. We cannot hear the item at this time. And part of the reason I was going to ask for some, just to clarify for you, the testimony, I shouldn't say testimony, the public comment that you are currently hearing from Mr. Kinzel, the DA's office, as well as from members of the public. When this comes for a hearing properly before the board, not all individuals hearing the item will have heard all of this necessarily. So people will need to come back if, we'll give them in a sense, you're opening up public comment period again because this matter is not on the agenda. But we don't have a quorum. So right. It's a unique, weird situation. Preferably we would have waited, but because the public was here and they wanted to be heard and you're not taking action, you can go ahead and hear it. But yes, this is public comment.
Okay.
And it should be limited to 2 minutes.
Okay, I appreciate that. And I'm not trying to, I know as the department, we normally afford more time, but I just am trying to respect the process as best I can. So if you could please adhere to the rest of the 2 minute time limit, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you. And I was under the impression that the board wanted input on this subject.
Well, we're not hearing the item today, that we're just allowing the public that took the time to show up an opportunity to speak, because this came after public comment and they probably would have spoken during that time had they known it was going to be continued.
Well, the issues that were raised by County Council indicate problems that were caused by the Auditor's Office and areas of the county aside from the District Attorney's Office. This recognition of a glitch causing this problem not to be able to be heard today is not the product of the District Attorney. In fact, we're doing everything we can to get it heard today. And part of the reason for that is that we need someone to be at the Family Justice Center to serve this role. And the only thing that is before this board today is an occupancy agreement, which is to allow the provider that we have already chosen and entered into an operations agreement to come into the building and fill the office that they are being asked to fill. The only issue that's causing recusal is this issue of contributions, and if it goes through the process, which is already in the middle of being done and had been for quite some time, then it could go forward. What this board can do today is conditionally approve the occupancy. Let BRS come in, and if for some reason the sole source justification doesn't go through purchasing, then it can come back to the board. But the board can act today.
Okay, thank you. Any other speakers?
Well, good morning, Mr. Chairman, and one member of the board. For years, and I'll just briefly tell you my why. My why has been rooted in a single enduring example that I learned about service not from a textbook, but I learned by watching my father. As a pastor in East Bakersfield, he did not just preach compassion, he lived it. From his work with Teen Challenge to mentoring young minorities in juvenile hall to opening up our home to friends who were homeless, I've learned these fundamental values from my father. And one of the things that I really want to highlight today is that, this morning, Bakersfield Recovery Service is just essentially collateral damage in between this dispute and this fight. And I think it's important, and we'll come back with a bigger presentation, why Bakersfield Recovery Service is qualified to do this work. The word recovery, most people that are in recovery have gone through some type of domestic violence. They have gone through some type of form of trauma, and then they end up on the other side. And we want to be intentional about doing the preventative work. There are very few organizations that can do an integrated healthcare model, but we enjoy the opportunity to partner with so many people in our community. Bakersfield Recovery Service has served this community for over 40 years. For decades, we have walked alongside individuals and families facing trauma, addiction, instability, homelessness, and family separation. And keep in mind, this is not a multi-million-dollar contract. This is a contract for $75,000 a year for 2 years. We will lose money. We wanted to step up and help the victims. We have been a partner with the FJC Center for almost 3 years. We've been partnering with victims. We've been partnering in Lamont. We've been doing the work. And we welcome any scrutiny, but we have gone through the same process that the former predator, the previous person has gone through. And we look forward to coming back with a full presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to turn to County Council and just have you kind of expand on some of the points that were talked about with regard to what exactly it is that the board's approving, because I think that there's some fundamental misunderstanding about what is in front of the board.
Mr. Kinzel is correct in that what is before you is an occupancy agreement. However, the occupancy agreement is based on the fact that you are giving occupancy to someone who has a contract with the DA's office that has gone through the proper process. We're just shy of that process happening. You cannot take action on it without a quorum. You do not have a quorum at this point. So it does need to come back at a different time. I understand the position that puts the district attorneys in, and I'm sorry for that. And I'm sorry for the services that may or may not be provided. I hope that there's a way they can work around that, because I think the agencies are still there. As Mr. Bowers just stated, they've been providing services, just not in this capacity, so hopefully they can still provide services during this time. It's not my wheelhouse, that's not what I do. However, you cannot take action without a quorum at this point, nor can you take action, Mr. Kinzel mentioned a conditional approval. You don't have a quorum to make that decision at this point.
Understood. I guess my question is, just for a more clear understanding for individuals, it's not under the jurisdiction of the board to eat, I mean, we're not even discussing service providers. It's whether or not we will, like you said, an occupancy agreement, it's whether or not we will allow a provider to use a space in a county building.
A provider who has been properly awarded a contract, whether or not you will give them occupancy.
Okay, thank you.
Correct.
Are there any other members of the public that would like to speak on this item?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here actually as a victim of domestic violence to speak in support of Bakersfield Recovery Services. And I'm sorry, you guys, I'm a grant writer. I'm very nervous. Public speaking is not really my thing, especially about something so vulnerable. I listened to a lot of the comments here today. There is a lot of passion behind the voices because most of us feel like we have been left behind. Law enforcement has failed us, courts have failed us, everyone has failed us. I definitely, in my position, have spent the last few days probably reaming the people who are up to bat for this contract. And I have to say that as a victim, this is just me personally, I feel like I vetted them, and I'm very happy with their training and with their plan, which I think is really important because one thing that the sort of optics of this whole thing have said is, you know, all the drama and all this other stuff, but I've personally been involved in requesting meetings with the Open Door Network and was refused. So I think the drama is really underscoring the fact that victims need help, and if victims can get mental health care, behavioral health care support for their family, they should. And my other concern is if the issue of the contract being held up is an internal one, maybe there should have been a solution today instead of just discussing what went wrong. Maybe we can do better to look at that process and correct it. Thank you.
Ma'am, can you state your name, please?
Yes, I'm sorry. Lisa Kerr, Kerr.
Lisa, I have a question.
Okay, go
Thank you,
ahead,
Chair. Are
Supervisor
you
Perez.
here on behalf of anybody? You said you're a grant writer. Are you, like,
I'm
how
just
did you come to be involved in this?
I'm just an independent party. I entered what is the center called? Kern Family Justice Center.
Okay.
As a client and felt it failed me. I just observe everything. I'm here to support BRS and just basically from observation of what they've been doing in the community.
Based on your knowledge of BRS? You work with them, or how do you know that they would be, you had a bad experience at the FJC, they failed you, and now you're saying—
I've worked with the Open Door Network with Lauren, and I've worked with Michael Bowers. I raised $10 million for Cap K. Lauren Skidmore took a grant from me and used it to get this job. I mean, I know her.
Okay.
So there's a lot of history within this community, especially in nonprofits. And I just wanted to speak that when I entered as a victim, I was told 60 days to get housing. I got no legal support. I got nothing. So it's time for a change. It's definitely time for a new contract, whatever that may be. The fact that DA Zimmer and her family are involved in some kind of other issue, which is equally important, should not overshadow the fact that victims need urgent help. The people here who are victims talking about how much we've been failed is true. I spent the last few years, 4 or 5 years, developing a DV oversight committee and asking Lauren to meet and was refused. I'm a very competent leader, but the fact that victims are ignored and then even here, you know, it's just about politics, I think is just disturbing. So of course, I'm here talking about victims.
Okay, appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any other members of the public that would like to speak? Okay, seeing none. Again, this is a very difficult, very contentious topic. There's a lot of issues with it. I'm going to save my comments because I don't want to. I want to keep an open mind. I want the rest of the board to keep an open mind as we go into this and hear everybody's concerns and do our best to make an informed decision. So I will go ahead and end the public comment there. As we don't have a quorum, we can't take action. So I do believe with the two supervisors we have, I can motion that we continue this item to the next meeting. And do we need just a second from Supervisor Perez on that?
I mean, we don't have a vote capacity, so do we just do it automatically, the continuance to the next board date?
I think it would die. I think we need an affirmative motion to continue, if I'm not
Chairman
mistaken.
Peters, the one thing you can do absent a quorum is continue a matter.
Okay.
So again, I just want to make very clear that we are continuing the matter. You're continuing it for a full hearing, that the public presentation today is not part of that hearing.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so I will make a motion that this matter be continued to our April 14th, 9 a.m. meeting.
Oh, second?
Okay. And do we need a vote on that? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, having no further items to discuss in open session, I will entertain a motion to adjourn to closed session to consider item 47 under the CAO's office, as well as items 48 through 50 under County Council. Motion to adjourn?
A motion.
Thank you. Without objection, we are adjourned in honor of Derek Gross.